During our first discussion, I gave you already an idea what a geometric sequence is. Again, in geometric sequence, the next term is obtained by multiplying the preceding term by a non-zero constant called common ratio. And the common ratio is obtained by dividing any term in the sequence by the term that precedes it. Preceding term is yung mas unang term. Example, let us try to get the next term in this geometric sequence. So to get the next term, determine first the common ratio. So we have to divide this second term by the first term. Take note, it's from right to left. Therefore, the common ratio is 4. In geometric sequence, the common ratio is denoted by lowercase letter r. Therefore, the next term here is 1,280. Just multiply 320 by the common ratio, which is 4. Then you will get 1,280. Next example. What do you think is the next term here? Again, get the common ratio first. And you can do that by dividing the second term by the first term. R is equal to negative 20 divided by 40. But we cannot divide negative 20 by 40. We can just get its simplest form. The simplest form of negative 20 over 40 is negative 1/2. So this is now the common ratio. It's negative 1/2. So to get the next term in this geometric sequence, we simply multiply negative 5 by the common ratio, which is negative 1/2. So negative 5 times negative 1/2, multiply the numerator by the numerator and denominator by the denominator. So negative 5 times negative 1 is simple enough, it's 5. Then 1 times 2 is 2. Negative times negative, obviously it's positive. That's why we have 5 over 2, or in decimal number, it's 2.5. So the next term here is 2.5. Now, just like in arithmetic sequence, meron ding formula ang geometric sequence if you are asked to find the nth term of the sequence. And this is the formula, wherein a sub 1 is the first term, parehas lang nung sa arithmetic sequence. Then n is the number of terms, and r is for the common ratio. So let's have an example. What is the 10th term of the geometric sequence 8, 4, 2, 1, etc.? So just use this formula. Do the substitution. Instead of writing a sub n, we write here a sub 10 since we are asked to find the 10th term. Then a sub 1 in this sequence is 8. That's why we have here 8. Then the common ratio is 1/2. Bakit naging 1/2? Divide the second term by the first term. 4 divided by 8. 4 cannot be divided by 8. Let's just get the simplified form of this. It's 1/2. That's why we have here 1/2. Then there are 10 terms in this sequence. Then copy minus 1. Then we have to simplify this. Unahin muna natin yung exponent. Copy first 8 times 1/2. 10 minus 1 is 9. Next, we cannot multiply 8 by 1/2. Hindi yan yung dapat gawin. Ang dapat gawin ay isimplify natin tong 1/2 raised to 9. So 1/2 raised to 9, ibig sabihin, you have to multiply 1/2 9 times by itself. We copy first 8. So it's 1 over 512. Then saka lang natin i-multiply itong dalawa. 8 times 1 over 512, numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator, we have 8 over 512. And 8 cannot be divided by 512. You can't do that. Pwede ba siyang makunan ng lowest term? Yes, and it is 1/64. So this is now the 10th term in this geometric sequence. So as simple as that. Another example. What is the 9th term of the given geometric sequence? So again, instead of writing a sub n, we write a sub 9 since we are asked to find the 9th term. Equals a sub 1 in this sequence is 5. That's why we have here 5. Then the common ratio here is 20 divided by 5 is 4. Kaya merong 4 dito. Then there are 9 terms. That's why we have 9, then copy minus 1. Simplify this first. 9 minus 1 is 8. Again, hindi i-multiply ito ha. That's incorrect. Dapat, i-simplify muna natin to. 4 raised to 8. It means that you have to multiply 4 8 times by itself. So we write 5 times 65,536. And the product of that is 327,690. So this is now the 9th term in this geometric sequence. Okay? Okay, kung meron tayong arithmetic means, we also have geometric means. And these are the terms between any two given terms of geometric sequence. Madali lang din to. And we will be using the same formula na ginamit natin sa previous slide. So you are asked to complete this geometric sequence, wherein the first term is 2 and the last term is 32. So to determine the geometric means, we have to determine first the common ratio by using this formula. Okay? So let's do the substitution. A sub n here is already defined, which is 32. So we do not write here a sub 32. It's incorrect. Okay? Define na kasi yung last term. Kaya yung mismong 32 na yung ilalagay natin. Then the first term is 2. Kaya merong 2 dyan. Then since we are looking for the common ratio, just copy first the variable r. Then there are 5 terms. That's why we have here 5. Then copy minus 1. Copy 32. Copy 2. Copy r. Then 5 minus 1 is 4. Then we can get the product of this. 2 times r raised to 4 is 2r raised to 4. Now, paano na kaya ito? Ano na kaya ang gagawin? Take note that we have to determine the value of r. So, kailangan wala itong 2 and wala itong 4 sa kanya. And to do that, the next step you can do here is to divide both sides by the numerical coefficient here, which is 2. So divided by 2, divided by 2. Then in that way, we can already cancel this out. Then simplify, 32 divided by 2 is 16. Then meron na lang tayo sa right side na r raised to 4. So yan na lang yung iisipin natin maalis sa kanya. To get rid of 4, get the fourth root of each side of the equation. By that, we can cancel this. So, ang matitira na lang ay the fourth root of 16 equals r. So, malapit na tayo sa katotohanan. Kasi mag-isa na lang si r sa right side. So, now, to get the final answer, just get the fourth root of 16. But, always remember that if the index is an even number, you have to put here a positive and negative sign. Pero kung odd yung index, there's no need for you to put the positive and negative sign anymore here. So therefore, r is equal to what? What is the fourth root of 16? Think of a number, when you multiply 4 times by itself, you'll get 16. The answer is 2. Because 2 times 2, 4. 4 times 2, 8. And 8 times 2, 16. Again, in this case, you have to think of a number when you multiplied 4 times, because the index is 4. 4 times by itself, you'll get the radicand, which is 16. And the answer is 2. So we have here positive, negative 2. Don't forget the positive, negative sign. Now, paano yan, ma'am? Dalawa yung common ratio. Ibig sabihin, magkakaroon ng dalawang geometric sequence. Okay? So let us consider first, r is equal to 2. If r is equal to 2, the next term here is, how do we get that? Multiply the first term by 2, because 2 is the common ratio. So 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2, 8, 8 times 2, 16, kaya umabot tayo ng 32 sa last term. So that's the first set of the geometric sequence. Now what if the common ratio is negative 2? Considering the first term 2, what do you think is the second term in the sequence? Simply multiply the first term by negative 2. Negative 2 is the common ratio this time. So 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Times negative 2, it's 8. 8 times negative 2, negative 16. And negative 16 times negative 2 is 32. So since nagkaroon tayo ng dalawang values ng r, which is the positive and negative 2, nagkaroon din tayo ng dalawang set ng geometric sequence. Okay? So that's it. So another example. Insert two terms between 120 and 15 of geometric sequence. So again, use the formula. A sub n is what? 15. A sub 1 is 120. Then n is, there are 4 terms. That's why we have here 4. Copy minus 1. Then simplify first the exponents. So 15 equals 120 times r. 4 minus 1 is 3. Get the product of these two expressions. 120 times r cubed is 120 r cubed. Then we have to get rid of 120 and 3 in this side. Dapat matira lang natin si r. To do that, divide both sides by 120. So divide this. Matitira na lang si r cubed. Then 15 divided by 120 is, 15 cannot be divided by 120. So just get the lowest term. And its lowest term is 1 over 8. This is not yet the common ratio because we still have to get rid of this number. To do that, you have to get the cube root of each side. By that, we can now cancel this. Matitira na si r. Since the index is an odd number, there is no need for us to put a positive negative sign here before the radical sign. So just get the cube root of 1/8. The cube root of 1/8 is what? Think of a number when multiplied 3 times by itself, the result is 1/8. Or you may just use your scientific calculator. So the cube root of 1/8 is 1/2, because 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2 is equal to 1/8. Therefore, the common ratio is 1/2. So we can now complete this geometric sequence. Let us multiply the first term by the common ratio, which is 1/2. So 120 times 1/2 is 120 over 2, or 60. So the second term here is 60. Then to get the third term, multiply 60 by the common ratio, which is 1/2. So 60 times 1/2 is 30. And this is now the geometric sequence. So I hope it's clear to you, class. Let us now have the geometric series or the sum of a geometric sequence? Geometric series is the sum of all the terms of a geometric sequence. So, tinatawag natin siyang geometric series. And the formula to determine the sum of the terms in a geometric sequence is this. S sub n stands for the sum of the terms. Then A sub 1 stands for the first term, A sub n stands for the last term, R stands for the common ratio, wherein R should not be equal to 1. Bakit kaya bawal maging 1 si R? Because if R is equal to 1, then this formula will become undefined. We cannot solve it anymore. Kasi 1 minus 1 is 0. And any expression or number cannot be divided by 0 because it is undefined. Now, there are conditions here that you have to consider. If R is equal to 1, then the sum of all the terms can be obtained by multiplying the number of terms by the first term. I'll show you an example of this later. Next, if R is equal to negative 1 and n is an even number, therefore, the sum of the terms of the geometric sequence is equal to 0 automatically. Take note of this is if R is negative 1 and n is an even number. On the other hand, if R is negative 1 but n is an odd number, then the sum of all the terms of a geometric sequence is equal to the first term. Kung ano yung first term, yun din yung sum ng geometric sequence. Okay? Let's have this example number 1. So, what is the sum of the first 100 terms of a geometric sequence? What is the common ratio here? 2 divided by 2 is 1. Therefore, nandito tayo sa case na to. So, if R is 1, therefore, to get the sum of the terms of a geometric sequence, you just have to multiply the number of terms by the first term. So in this case, in this example, there are 100 terms. So we write here 100 times, what is the first term? It's 2. So therefore, it's 200. Okay? Next example. What is the sum of the first 50 terms of a geometric sequence? So what is the common ratio? 10 divided by negative 10. It's negative 1. So nandito tayo sa dalawa. But how many terms are there? 50. Is 50 an even or an odd number? It's an even number. So, nandito tayo sa case na to. And if that is the case, automatically, yung sum niya daw ay 0. So, you don't have to compute anymore for S sub n. Okay, the answer here is 0. So, we write here, S sub n is equal to 0. But what if you are asked to find the sum of the first 51 terms of a geometric sequence? So what do you think will be the sum of, what do you think is the sum of the terms? This time, n is an odd number. So since n is an odd number, then S sub n is equal to a sub 1. And a sub 1 here is negative 10. But instead of writing S sub n, we write S sub 51. Same case here. Instead of writing S sub n, we write here S sub 50. So that's it. Let us now apply this formula. You can only apply this formula if the value of R is not equal to 1. But if the value of r is equal to 1 or negative 1, then you have to use these formulas. Okay, let's continue. Example number 4. What is the sum of the first 5 terms of this geometric sequence? So let us try to use this formula. So S sub n will now be S sub 5. Ito lang yung hinahanap na sum. Pwede naman itong i-solve gamit yung cycle, but let us still use this formula. So S sub 5 is equal to, the first term is 3 minus A sub n is, it's not 96. Kasi hanggang 5 terms lang tayo. So it's 48. Times, the common ratio is 6 divided by 3 is 2. That's why we have here 2. All over 1 minus the common ratio, which is 2. So we first multiply these two values. 3 minus 48 times 2 is 96. All over 1 minus 2 is negative 1. So 3 minus 96 is negative 93. Over negative 1, we get the quotient, it's 93. So the sum of these 5 terms of this geometric sequence is 93. You may verify it using your cycle. Okay, last example. What is the sum of the first 10 terms of the given geometric sequence? Now take note that the formula in getting the sum of the terms of a geometric sequence is S sub n equals but if you can notice here, wala pang A sub n. So we still have to find first or to determine first A sub n, which is the 10th term. So we have to find first the 10th term in this geometric sequence using this formula. So do the substitution. We write here A sub 10 since we are looking for the 10th term. Equals A sub 1 in the sequence is 6. Ito yun. Times, the common ratio is 3. Bakit naging 3? 18 divided by 6 is 3. Then n is equal to 10. Minus 1. Subtract these two values, we get 9. Simplify this, 3 raised to 9. We get 19,683. Therefore, the 10th term is, this is incorrect, it should be 118,098. Since we have already now the 10th term, we can now determine the sum of the first 10 terms. A sub 1 is 6 minus A sub n is 118,098 to be multiplied by the common ratio, which is 3. All over 1 minus the common ratio. We multiply these two values first. So 118,098 times 3 is 354,294. All over, get the difference of this, it's negative 2. Simplify the numerator, it's negative 354,288. Divide it by negative 2, the answer is 177,144. That's it for this lesson video. Thank you so much for listening.